Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Murph Plays Super Metroid for Super Nintendo. We are back to playing Metroid. There we go, now we've got sound. Y'all have to let me know if that volume's appropriate. My levels got messed up. We are trying a slightly different setup today. Also, I have the wrong controller. Why am I playing with this controller? There we go. Should always have a pro controller there. Well, hey, Knitting Link and Ube, welcome to the chat. I'm doing great today. Messing around with my setup a little bit though, because I had to change a few things up. So you'll have to let me know if the volume sounds okay, because I had to mess with that too. Not too badly though. But yeah, I traded out my second monitor for something a bit more manageable in size. Whole time that I've been streaming, my Switch, which I run on my second monitor, well, the screen's been ginormous because it's been somebody else's TV. Well, when I sit really close to a really big TV, it looks like pixelated trash. you have to be sitting across the room in order for that to look good. Um, I couldn't get far enough away from the TV because the Ethernet line comes in right behind the TV, so that's where I have to have my computer set up. And also, in order for it to be my second monitor, I have to have the HDMI cord that can run from my tower to the TV. And to get it plugged into the back of this thing, like, even my longest cord, I'm sitting immediately underneath this TV. Are we avoiding spoilers from chat? No. Go ahead and spoil away. I have played this before. I haven't beaten this before, but I know what happens. I mean, I've played Fusion. I've played Dread. Like, this is, you know, we're basically just trying to get through this one in our attempt to play through the entire franchise. So, like, spoil away. I'm not that concerned with spoilers here. The only thing I ask is, no backseat gaming, though I may ask for hints, because if you're someone who's played this, you have more experience than me. Like right now, I know I'm definitely not going the right way. I should probably be in, like, Norfair or something. In fact, I'm probably supposed to be hunting Ridley right now. Yeah, I'll probably just straight up ask you for hints, like, at some point in this stream if you stick around, because this is honestly the furthest I've ever been while playing this game. It's not the first time I've played this game, but this is one of the few Metroid titles that I have not beaten. But I've been a longtime fan of the franchise, so the story has already been spoiled for me. You don't have to worry about any of that. Most of the people tuning in, if you're not familiar with the Metroid story, why are you here? You know, Metroid fans are pretty well aware, so... let's see. Where am I even? I am probably nowhere near where I'm trying to be. Yeah, no, this is not going to get me anywhere. That's a dead end. Why am I even going that way? Whoa! Yeah, let's not do that. I just wasted a super missile on a door that was already opening. You take a week off to cleanse the Metroid from your brain while you're sleeping. And you lose all functionality. Like, I don't even remember what the buttons do. Oh, it's terrible. Alright. We should probably get back on track here. We've got the gravity suit. We've got the grapple hook. We've got the X-ray scope. We got power bombs. Oh yeah, I also have the Nintendo Power Guide. Somewhere. I looked that up. Of course, trying to figure out where we're at in the, in the progress is going to be something else, but let's get out of here. These guys are annoying. Did we get the morph ball? Yeah, we got the morph ball. We're okay there. That's, usually, not always, but usually, one of the first things you end up getting. If you ain't got the morph ball by the time you got the gravity suit, there's probably a problem. Clearly, we also have the ice beam. Let's see. Wave beam. Okay, we do have the wave beam. Spazer. We're still missing a reserve tank somewhere. There are playthroughs that skip the morph ball. How do you get most places without the morph ball? Like, Samus can't crawl. We got the spring ball. If I remember right, that was one of the last things we picked up. So. Let me pull out the Super Nintendo, Nintendo Power Player's Guide. If I can remember where I put it. It's on my phone somewhere. Here we go. Okay, so got that. The Golden Chozo. Did we fight the Golden Chozo? Screw attack. We don't have the screw attack. Do we have the space jump? No, we have the high jump. We need the space jump. Let's see here. I think we want to go to Norfair. Yeah, if you're gonna do a morphless run, I don't know how you pull that off. I do know there's a lot of ways you can sequence break to get around stuff, but like there's a lot of sequence breaking you would have to be doing to get through some places. Like an absurd amount of sequence breaking. We gotta get the space jump, which I have no idea where we get that. And we just saved. And we'll probably save again. Could call it the Murph ball. Let's see. I know we haven't really explored, Meridia. Because we needed the gravity suit for that, and we just got the gravity suit. So I'm thinking Meridia, and then we come back. Oh wait, this is one of those spots where I gotta try to do the thing. Oh yeah, I gotta hold the button. Yeah, we do this. Whee! Okay. Visit the little bounty hunter's room. Okay. Let's take a look here. Okay, so we've beaten the boss there. There was a map there. Oofta. I'm already yawning. That's a bad sign. So, I'm trying an experiment. I nap a lot during the day, like an absurd amount. But I'm also living in a basement. And I'm thinking part of the reason why I nap so much is because I'm not getting enough sunlight down here. So I got one of those light therapy boxes. I'm gonna be giving that a try. See if that does anything for me. Okay, we do have to get to the other side of the wrecked ship. Alright. That's what I thought. I tried it yesterday, and I was reading the instruction manual on the thing, because I'm one of those weirdos who reads the instructions on stuff. According to the instruction manual, too much usage is going to make you feel over-caffeinated. I thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, we've already been through here, and that's not gonna help us. Ah! Am I able to leave yet? No, there's apparently still one more thing to kill. There you are. Is that everything? Yes. But the puns. But yeah. Got to thinking. I've got a friend who is a serious caffeine addict. Like, we're talking supporting the entirety of McDonald's staff putting their kids through college just on the amount of coffee she buys from there. I am very tempted to have her try one of these light boxes to see if it helps her cut down on her coffee consumption. Does this take us outside? Hey, we're back outside. All right. This is we're finally on the right track. All right. We need to go that way. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of critters and stuff here. Whoa, there we go. All right, we got to get to the other side of this room. Just kind of part of the inventory, huh? The Forgotten Highway. All right. We did spend a little time here last time we played. A little bit of time. What I remember of it is it was very frustrating. I was not a happy camper because I kept getting stuck in quicksand. And we're back to full health. I mean, it's like we don't even have to try farming our health anymore. Where did that guy come from? Ah, still... I don't remember those guys being there. Okay. Where are we? Where are we trying to go? Those are the important questions. There seems to be an elevator over here. I guess down is the easiest route. There's a spin jump. Thank you, Samus. I knew you had it in you. There we go. Okay. Traveling. Alright. We want to try to go to the left. I mean, there's got to be a reason we weren't able to go all the way to the left. I am starting to remember why I didn't like being down here. It's almost as bad as when I get stuck under the blocks in the lava in the first game. Seriously, come on. Samus. There we go. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Sort of. We're definitely investigating new territory here. Aha! I had a feeling that would do a thing. Sand pits are obnoxious. Like, that's... Oh boy! We have a lot to explore. We have barely been anywhere. Okay. This is... Yeah, okay, this makes sense. This makes sense. We've barely scratched the surface. The sticky lava and walls. Pretty fun for you viewers, though. Well, I'm glad my inability to do things properly is of humor to somebody. As it should be. Do we have speed booster yet? Yes, we do. High jump boots, speed booster. The only things we're missing, as far as I could tell, plasma beam. I think plasma beam's a thing in this one. Screw attack, and the space jump. I think that's what we're missing. As well as the Ah! Stop getting stuck in things. Reserve tank and energy tanks. And probably quite a few missile upgrades yet. Oh, let's get off of that one. Oh, sure. I can do it when I do the jumpy thing, but I can't do it when I'm just from a standing start. I mean, that sounds right, though. That sounds right. Now, where are we at? That button. There we go. Okay, we've been all over this part. We need to go back this way. Ah, okay. Now I remember where we're at. Okay, we need to go this way. Because we've been down, right? Yeah, we've been down. I think we needed to freeze that fish if we want to go up that way. Otherwise, we got to go through that wall or something. Or it's going to be one of those. No. No. Turboing our way through doesn't do nothing. At least. Speed boost is gonna come in handy, huh? Well, I should hope so. I've yet to see a... Yeah. I've yet to see the Metroid game where they give you an upgrade that's not really good for anything. Alright, there's a hole in the wall over there. Speed boost. Okay, we got a speed boost through the floor of that one. We'll put those on the list of things we'll get later when we're feeling bold and more confident about our abilities. Okay. That didn't work. But hey, thanks for the lift, buddy. Alright, that didn't open anything. There we go. Yeah, I've gotten pretty used to, whoop, let's not waste those. Gotten pretty used to checking around for things. Because you never know where they're gonna hide something on you. Huh. We're in Brinstar again. I don't think we want to be in Brinstar. Nope, didn't make it. Although there's stuff this way. Let's see what's this way. Why not? Space pirate. Why you no die, space pirate? Are you invincible? Must be. Okay. So how do we get out of here? Okay, now we're back to here. Plasma beam or screw attack. Okay, which means we've got to be getting close to finding one or both of those. if they're already throwing that kind of stuff at us. They usually only make us put up with something for a little while before they give us the means to deal with it. Alright, super missile. There we go. Okay. Go down. But do we want to go down? Not really. If anything, we want to go this way. There is no upward mobility here. I don't think there's going to be upward mobility here either. Come on. Nope. Get out of there. Get out of there, Samus. There you go. Okay. I don't think this is the right way. Come on. There we go. And we're out. Woo! I hate that room. Okay. Alright. There's no shortcut through the floor I can, or through the ceiling I can take here, is there? Nope. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think there'd be anything in here. So anybody catch the Oscars last night? I heard it was an incredible evening for Chris Rock. Yeah, I missed it too, but I woke up to the news of the Will Smith incident, which I don't know. I mean, I kind of find it a little funny, even though, you know, violence should, you know, there's no place for that at an awards show. But at the same time, like, maybe Chris had it coming. I don't know. There are people saying that it was staged, which I don't know. Yeah, because wasn't he making fun of Jada Pinkett Smith's bald head when it happened? So, like, on the one hand, like, you never make fun of a black woman's hair. Ever. Or lack thereof. You just don't. You don't go there. Okay? In fact, making fun of any woman's appearance probably not gonna go well for you if you're a guy. If you're a woman and you're making fun of another woman's appearance as a comedian, as a joke, like, it's probably still gonna be very very tricky territory to navigate, but you probably have, you know, some common ground there that makes it a little bit better, kind of the way black people can make black people jokes, you know. Jews can make Jew jokes because they have a commonality. Like, what I say may be offensive to you, but it applies to me, kind of a thing. Uh, so, like, a woman could probably make fun of another woman's hair or appearance. But I feel like nobody should be making fun of a black woman's hair. Chris Rock should have known that. I mean, he grew up with women around him. At least I'm pretty sure he did. Pretty sure his mom was a big part of his life. Pretty sure, I think he even had sisters. I don't know. I'm not that familiar with his, his upbringing, to be honest, but see, there are some jokes that are tasteless, though. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you should be able to make light of certain of things, but some things are just better left not. Some things you have to be able to laugh at, though. But regardless of the joke, regardless of the situation, violence probably not a good solution to any of that. So, Chris Rock probably should not have been making that joke. Probably had it coming. But should Will Smith have delivered it the way he did? On live television? I'm gonna go ahead and say probably not. But, there's still the question of, was it staged? Now you might be thinking, why would somebody stage something like that? That just seems ridiculous. Well, you're probably more likely to tune in to the next year's Oscars because, oh my god, do you remember when Will Smith smacked Chris Rock? I mean, the Oscars have been getting really boring. Like, really, really boring. People don't want really to tune in. It's starting to get to be one of those things where, they even have trouble finding people to host because nobody wants to do it. Because nobody really cares. It's another awards show where we, pat Hollywood elite on the back and go, "Good job, buddy. You delivered some entertainment. Here's a little trophy." I mean, these are people who make multiple millions of dollars for the pictures that are being, awarded in most cases. Now, not every case. Like, some of these films, like, the actors are only being paid thousands of dollars for some of them yet, because they're just not a big enough draw to pull in that kind of a paycheck. But Robert Downey Jr., if you put him in a movie right now, you're paying him $1 million. Probably. Why? Because people are going to want to see that. It's a Robert Downey Jr. movie. He's got an audience. People are going to really want to see his next movie. If Disney were to announce that they're bringing him back for Iron Man, for another appearance as Iron Man, you better believe that the people at Disney are forking over, probably tens of millions of dollars to get him into that role again. Why? Because people are going to lose their minds because, oh my god, Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark again. Ah! And you can't tell me that would not be the case, because I know for a fact people would lose their mind that Robert Downey Jr. is making another appearance as Iron Man. He is taking on the role of Tony Stark again. Like, they are going to lose their shit. And because that's a guaranteed draw for an audience, I guarantee you Disney would have to pay big bucks to make it happen. Robert Downey Jr. is not stupid. He knows what he's worth. They practically had to kill him off because otherwise they wouldn't be able to afford to keep making movies. But the dude is a great actor. He's worth every penny that they pay him. But he's expensive. But he's expensive for all the right reasons. He's expensive because they know he's going to put butts in seats. He's going to sell tickets. He's going to get that audience through the door. He's going to sell tubs of popcorn. He's going to sell boxes of Junior Mints. They can count on him to make appearances on all the talk shows, hype up the movie. Like, he's going to be charming and witty on The Tonight Show, on The Late Show, and every other, show that they decide to have him on. And that's what they're getting with that big price ticket to get him on screen. They know it. He knows it. He ain't stupid. So he's going to charge what, he's worth. And everybody usually goes home happy with his performance. So, I don't fault him. I don't fault him for being, one of Hollywood's highest paid actors right now. But, like, it also seems really just self-grandizing to sit through a 2-hour award show or a 3-hour award show or however long they decide to make it run now. To hand him a trophy now after they've paid him, $12 million for the role. Oh, by the way, here's an award. Like, really? I mean, you already paid the guy $12 million. I'm pretty sure that was the reward. Just saying. But, there are some people who, like, you never see win an award, and you'd really like to. You'd really like to see them get their due. Like, has Leonardo DiCaprio won anything yet? Or is he still waiting for his Oscar? Because it seems to me that guy should have won an Oscar by now. But he's one of those, every time I hear about it, he still hasn't won. I was gonna use you as a ladder. Alright, looks like we're just gonna have to do this the annoying way. I don't know if he has or not. I don't think he has. Like, I'm pretty sure he's gotten, like, an Academy Award for a couple of roles he's done, but I think he still has not received an Oscar. Or if he did, like, you would be surprised to find it's rather recent. Like, this would be a really recent development in his career. But he's been snubbed a number of times for roles that people thought absolutely should have gotten him something. So, oh, he did get a Best Actor in Revenant. See, that one, not one of his best. Like, don't get me wrong, it's decent, but like, y'all see that that Scorsese picture he did with De Niro and Matt Damon and whatnot? Like, where was his Oscar for that one? I mean, dude held his own against the likes of Jack Nicholson and, you know, certainly proved himself capable. They like, him and Matt Damon should have gotten Oscars in that one. And that was a decent picture. A little long, but wasn't terrible. Gangs of New York should have gotten some awards. That's not the one that I was thinking of, but that definitely should have gotten some awards. I mean, I'm sure it won some stuff, but like, how come Leo didn't get his, you know? Floors me every time. Now, don't get me wrong, not everything he does is golden. Not everything he does is, you know, just absolutely, you know, amazing stuff. But enough of what he does deserves more recognition than it's been getting. Yeah, he has a ton of movies that he should have won something. But, I don't know. I'm thinking he ticked somebody off on the, you know, on the judging committee or something, because like he's been overlooked by them so much. It's insane. But you know, he's not the only one. There's been a great number of people that um it took them ages to get their first Oscar, and it was one of those things where it's like, how does this person not have an Oscar? Probably could not do that a second time if I tried. Oh yeah, he was amazing in Don't Look Up. I loved that movie. Recently just saw that too, and I think he did a terrific job. Don't know if I would call that role Oscar worthy, but it's a very he did a very good job in that role. And it's a fantastic movie. Um I want to say it took a long time for Meryl Streep to get an award too. Which is another one of those that it's like, are y'all Looney Tunes? Because, like, it's friggin' Meryl Streep, you know? uh, that's actually not corny at all. I saw Man in the Iron Mask, in theaters, and I enjoyed it. Like, I was not a huge fan of Leonardo DiCaprio at that time, because, like, at that time he was one of those Hollywood heartthrob sort of, you know, like he was really pigeonholed during that part of his career. Like, I'm glad he's been able to, you know, expand beyond that and do the kind of stuff that he does now, you know, where you really get to see the sort of actor that he is. But yeah, Man in the Iron Mask was a really good movie. But see, even Leonardo DiCaprio, like, good of an actor as he is, I really don't need to see him being handed a trophy. You know? If they wanted to just announce, like, I don't know, in USA Today or, you know, Hollywood Weekly or whatever magazine or whatever, you know, who the winners were, they could save themselves a lot of trouble with the whole pomp and circumstance of the award show. Because I really don't feel like there's just that many people who really care. That's not to say nobody cares. Because I'm sure there are people who enjoy the shows. There are people who enjoy watching those, you know, seeing the people get all dressed up and whatnot, but that stuff was more entertaining a long time ago. It's less entertaining now. And for a while, that's what he was known for. He was known for those teen roles where, you know, he was the dream guy that every girl wished that they had. Ah, there is something here. I mean, if it hadn't been for him, like, do you think anybody would have gone to see Titanic? Probably not nearly as many people as who did. I know the only reason that there was a VHS copy of that in my house is because my sisters were absolutely in love with the guy. Okay. We still gotta figure out how to get into there and into there. Alright. But, yeah, I think Hollywood could do away with some of the award shows. Because there's the Oscars, there's the Screen Actors Guild, there's the Academy Awards, the Tonys for Broadway. See, I would keep the Tonys because stage is a whole different animal, and I feel like we kind of need the recognition for the arts there. Hollywood gets plenty of recognition. I mean, you got dudes pulling in $1 million paychecks. They got plenty of recognition. If you want to have an award show that recognizes some outstanding talent, okay, fine. But do we need so many? I don't feel like we do. Are you serious? I can't get up there now. Why can't I get up there? There we go. I was gonna say. So, you know, in recent years, the Oscars have been kind of a thing where it's, you know, it's the Oscars, who cares? You know, it's just gonna be a bunch of fancy rich people giving heartfelt speeches about how they thank God and their mom for bringing them to where they are, where they have millions of dollars, and, you know, and there's less draw for that kind of thing than there once was. So, could that slap have been staged? Possibly. Because now, everybody who missed it is hearing about how there was this crazy thing that happened. Chris Rock isn't pressing charges. Will Smith will probably have to apologize, but, like, his career is seriously not gonna take much of a hit from this. I mean, he's Will Smith. He can get away with, you know, he can get away with slapping Chris Rock, and, like, they'll still hire him. It's not the end of his career. And if Chris Rock makes a public statement of, oh yeah, I was forgiven, I clearly crossed some lines and whatever, and I should have known, I had that coming, blah, blah, blah. Like, ain't anybody gonna remember in a few weeks anyway. What they are gonna remember, though, is that crazy thing that happened at the Oscars. And next year, yeah, see, that's exactly my point. Like, the awards shows are for the industry, and the general public really doesn't care anymore. But I guarantee you, next year's ratings are going to be better, because people are going to remember that, oh yeah, we missed when Chris Rock got slapped by Will Smith. We better tune in this year and see what kind of crazy stuff happens. We wouldn't want to miss another incident like that. I mean, it'll be boring again. Probably. I feel like there should be something here. Is this a red herring? What? What's happened? Okay. That was unexpected. So I guess there was something there. But yeah, like the awards shows, the industry might care, but the rest of us don't. But now with the drama of, oh my gosh, Will Smith slapped, Chris Rock, that's what people are talking about this morning. People are talking about the Oscars. Whether they cared about the actual awards or not, suddenly we all find ourselves caring about the awards. Well, the whole ceremony part of it, anyway. So could it have been staged? Maybe. I ain't gonna go so far as to say, oh, for sure, it's definitely staged. Because, I don't know. Do I feel like they'd go that far? It's hard to say. Okay, this is gonna be really tricky and annoying. Ah. Come on. But I have seen already a lot of talk about how this whole thing was staged. Obviously, nobody with any definitive proof that it's been staged. But finding it suspicious that Chris Rock isn't pressing charges. So Morph Ball, hold the jump button to jump off the rocks. That didn't. I gotta try that again. I definitely did not do that right. Ah, nope, fell right through. I mean, I kind of got a little bit of a bounce that first time, but then I fell right through. So let's see if we can figure this one out. Now you gotta remember, you're working with an amateur. I have absolutely no idea how to pull off some of these fancy tricks. Okay, let's nope, let's stay in Morph Ball because we're gonna need to be in Morph Ball to get under there anyway. Ah! Alright, let's get back over here. So there's a reserve tank there that I definitely want. Come on. There, almost. There you go. Alright. Aha! We Did it. Yeah. Now, I would hope that Chris Rock and Will Smith, if they staged the slap, I would hope they had better sense than that. But I mean, people have to know that the awards shows have been on the decline for a while now. That can't be a surprise to anybody. Okay, now how do we get out of here? Whoa! They tried to kill us. Do we go through? I don't know if I want to do that. Now, you got us in here, sure, but is that going to be how we get out? I know what I'll do. There we go. We have a suspend point. See, I don't know. I honestly think they might be up for something like that. Oh, here we go. Like, I ain't saying for sure that they did. But you gotta remember, Will does have a sense of humor. Okay? And we all know Chris Rock has a sense of humor. Dude's been in comedy forever. It'd be weird if he didn't. But I still feel like it would be very weird for the two of them to collaborate and do something like, you know, hey, make fun of my wife, I'll come up on stage and slap you. And that'll get people talking about the Oscars. See, that's just it. Like, I don't know that they would care enough about the ratings of an awards show that they would pull something like that. But would they do something as a prank? Absolutely. But I don't think that that's what this is. You'd have to come from the other way for this to be of any use. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say with any level of certainty. No, that just takes me to that other place. We don't want to go that way. I guarantee you, though, all the late night shows and stuff, that's what they're going to be talking about. Yeah, I don't know what the blowback on something like that would be. If it would actually be any worse than the blowback of, oh my god, Will Smith just slapped Chris Rock on live television. Dude can't take a joke. You know, so it's really hard to say for sure that it would be worse. I don't know that it would be. And also, in that moment, are they going to consider what the ramifications are, or are they just going to be like, oh, well, this is just a joke? You know, if people don't think it's funny, well, that's on them. See, I don't think it would quite be the same level. Because Will Smith isn't being charged with anything. Because Chris Rock would have to be the one to charge him. And Chris Rock isn't exactly playing the victim here. It's basically, yeah, you know, somebody got upset about the things I was saying. Probably, you know, probably should have seen it coming. Now, that's not to say there wouldn't be some kind of, you know, some kind of outrage, because there would definitely be people who are like, I can't believe you guys did that. That was in such poor taste. And rightfully so, because it kind of is. If it's, you know, if it's all staged. Oh. And then I missed the jump. Of course I did. But I feel like whatever damage has been done, all they'd have to do is go on some talk shows, you know, make an appearance on, you know, Jimmy Kimmel or something together. And you know, they could be like, yeah, there's no hard feelings. It was just a joke. It was poorly, you know, it was a prank in poor taste. We both humbly apologize. Like, that's all they'd have to do. Ah, I am failing. Failing at doing the simple task. Seems like there should be an easier way to do this, but no. It's just I have to hold this button. There we go. There we go. Eh. Still didn't make it. Now, do I think it was staged? I don't know. I'd like to think they're not, you know, they're not that stupid, but at the same time, I've heard dumber things. Of course I missed. And I still didn't get up there far enough. Alright. I am failing at this. I feel like that should have connected. There we go. And there we go. Hey, we made it. Now, I don't know if Chris Rock and Will Smith had beef prior to this whole incident. And I feel like that might be a contributing factor if there was some bad blood. Maybe maybe there was an incident previously where Chris Rock had made some kind of joke about Will, or, you know, or Jada, or maybe Will's kids. And Lord knows there's plenty of jokes about Will's kids. Maybe dude just got fed up. Okay, we're back to where I wanted to be now. Trucks showed up, so you had to do crane stuff. Are you at work? You're at work and you're watching me play Metroid. I mean, I guess if you can get away with it. I've never worked at a place where they let you get away with any kind of anything on the clock. If you were on the clock, the boss owned you, essentially. Which, I always feel like that's kind of a problem, you know? You might be paying me to do a job. But, Like, I've never felt like I ought to feel beholden to anyone just because they write me a paycheck, you know? Speed boost, huh? Is there really enough runway to get speed boost here? I don't feel like there is. Specialized trade. Get away with stuff, huh? Well, you know, as long as you can get away with it. And as long as you know you can get away with it. Just don't get yourself in trouble. Trying to give me an audience. I want everybody to stay safe and keep their jobs. At least if they want to keep their jobs. You know, if you don't care about your job, then, well, that's not on me. That's... I feel like there should be something here. Or is this where I'm supposed to get the, That seems highly suspicious. Well, there you go. It's always good to have a plan. Okay, I get it. I get what I have to do here. There we go. Now we got it. Oh. They tricked me. They tricked me, and I am so upset. There we go. Jump. We did it. You live out in Seattle, huh? I got a buddy out in Seattle. Or Portland. He's out there on the West Coast. Moved out there, kind of the same as you. Just to see what was out there. You know, see what it could do. Yeah, don't let today be the day that ruins your good streak, you know? Well, that's not what I wanted. Okay. Alright, no getting through the wall there. Hi, from East Texas, eh? Yeah, I got another buddy who's in Texas. I used to drive truck to Texas every at least for a little bit. I don't drive truck anymore, so. Speed boost. Okay. There we go. We made it! Uh-oh. There's a boss fight. Totally was not prepared for this boss fight. Feel like we're doing alright though. Yeah. Hold up. There's no item here. What are you talking about? There's an item here. The map is lying. The people in Portland and Seattle, basically the entire East Coast, they have a different mindset than the people from, like, Texas would have. That's you know, honestly to be expected considering the vast difference between, you know, where they're at, the communities. I mean, just geography and industry and even the politics are different. Oh, yeah. My friend, who went there from Minnesota, he's actually kind of surprised at how different, it is. Being in that part of the country. You almost don't recognize that it's the same country, other than we speak the same language. Most of the time, anyway. Most of the time. But, like, it genuinely is like living in a different world. Since when have we been able to kill, Metroids with a grapple beam? That seems weird. But yeah, there's a different mentality and a different mindset if you're living in LA versus if you're living in New York, versus if you're living in Houston, versus living in Minneapolis. And all of these are on the far extremes of the United States. LA and California, obviously, New York and New York. Minneapolis here in Minnesota. Houston down in Texas. But it gets even weirder than that. From where I'm at, which is still in Minnesota, a whole different mindset than if you go to Minneapolis, Minnesota. People are genuinely bonkers. And it really doesn't take much travel to find it. To find where it gets weird for people. Okay. The spikes are fake? Oh! Tricky. See, I feel like the bikini baristas belong everywhere. They're certainly not everywhere. We don't have them here. But, I certainly wouldn't mind having them here. I would take up drinking coffee. Oh, we got a boss. Again. Like, I haven't even beaten the last one. Oh, snap. I feel like that could have gone better. I also feel like we're about to die. Oh, I guess not. I thought for sure we were dead. Space jump! Yeah, we're weird. A lot of our service industry, food service industry anyway, for some reason, we can't be bothered to pay them money. Like, the amount of money that they're worth. So, we just refuse to do that. Honestly, I wish we would just pay people, you know, a decent living wage. Instead of this nonsense where, oh, you can get tips and therefore you don't need a decent living wage. You know, because really, who's that serving? Ah, come on, Samus. There we go. Man, I wish you could do it. Yeah, around here, the only places where you don't tip is like the fast food industry. Which even makes the least amount of sense to me because those are the folks that make the least amount of money. But like we don't tip those people. You don't tip the people at McDonald's. You don't tip the people at you know, at Burger King. You tip the people at Starbucks though, which is really weird. So much of the industry makes so little sense. But much as I wish I was in a position to fix any of that, I'm not. If it ever comes up for a vote, believe me, my vote will be to fix all of it. Pay everybody a living wage. Because the only reason people aren't making a living wage is because of corporate greed. For some reason, some big shot seems to think he's worth so much more than the people who actually do the work that make him the money. And rather than pay the people what they're worth, he needs a yacht. Now, I'm not saying that they're not doing anything to earn money, but a lot of the money they're earning is on the backs of people who are actually putting in the labor, you know? And it's time we stop treating, you know, treating people like there's such a thing as unskilled labor. You know, I could have sworn I fixed the frame rate issue that was causing Samus to go invisible. But I see she still does that every time I get hit. Because right now, in the United States, there's this myth that nobody wants to work anymore because a lot of places are having trouble filling jobs. These jobs, though, they pay dirt wages. Absolutely dirt wages. And, like, people complain nobody wants to work anymore. Well, that's not true. People want to work. People want to be able to earn a living. But that's the thing. They want to be able to earn a living. If you're still making $7.25 an hour, that is not a living. Okay? You can't buy anything with that. So yeah, that's just it. The tipping part shouldn't be what makes their wages, you know, possible to sustain themselves. And just because you work in an industry where you receive tips, or it's possible to receive tips and not discouraged openly by the policies of the place you work, doesn't mean you still shouldn't be getting a paycheck and an hourly wage that's, you know, enough to afford rent at the very least. But so many places, they want to get away with paying you so little. And they're not understanding that in order for people to take those jobs, to give the hours required to man the shifts that are being, you know, being offered up there, like, you gotta be able to pay them enough that they can afford something. Because a person's time is valuable. We only have so much of it in a day. You, me, and Beyonce, we all have 24 hours in our day. I can guarantee you, Beyonce would tell you to shove your offer to pay $7.25 an hour to flip burgers. Now, I ain't saying everybody's got to be making Beyonce money. I sure ain't. But we also still have to make enough that we can pay rent. If your job doesn't pay you enough to make rent, that's a problem. And there's the whole, we'll just find a better job. Well, then who's going to do the job you've been complaining about not having somebody to fill? You know? People want there to be somebody to make their coffee, to flip their burgers. But they suddenly get offended at the idea that that person should also be paid what their time is worth to do the task. And that part makes no sense to me. Because the person flipping the burgers, they gotta pay rent. They gotta keep the lights on. If we're not going to pay them enough to do that, how are we making it worth it for them to do that job? And if it's not worth it for them to do that job, why should we expect them to? Simply because, well, they should have a job? Because they need a job? Because there's dignity in work? There's no dignity in starving to death. There's no dignity in going homeless. There's no dignity in having nothing for all the work that you show, or for all the work you do. So, wages need to go up if people want to be able to fill those unskilled labor positions. Because nobody can afford that anymore. Oh yeah. But see, that's where that narrative of nobody wants to work anymore is coming from. It's the pushback. But I'm thinking enough people are actually seeing through the bullshit. And they're not buying it. Plasma beam! Yeah! Like, I'm hoping we see wages go up. A lot. Because they've been pretty stagnant for a very long time. And it's been a problem for a long, long time. Now, I'm not saying everybody's wages gotta go up. There are plenty of people who have been making just fine where they're at. But, like, anyone who's still making only $7.25 an hour, like, no, your job ain't. That ain't gonna cut it. Okay, we got the plasma beam. We got... Where am I? I'm there. Okay. We need to find a save point. And yeah, that's just it. Tipping should not be the thing that makes it so that they can afford their rent. Okay? It should be a reward for a job well done. Because the current state of things, like, you can do a great job, but I'm going to feel absolutely, terrible even if you did a horrible job and I didn't tip you at least 15-20%. Because, like, I know you got a life living. I know you got mouths to feed. Like, you ain't doing this job because you just really like the industry. You know? Nobody wants to be a waitress for the fun of being a waitress. Oh yeah. Our parents all had an easier time of it. They didn't have the easiest time, but back in my parents' day, before they, you know, before the turn of the century, a single income family could actually survive just fine. Food in some restaurants is fairly cheap. But here's the thing. Eating out shouldn't be the cheapest option. And it's at a point where it just about is sometimes. Food prices have been going up a lot. They say inflation, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, you know. Could you just get up there, Samus? Thank you. And I'm not saying there's no truth to the, inflation causing, costs to rise and stuff. I'm just saying that's also a really good reason why we need to be paying people more. Because with or without the rising costs of food, people have already been making next to nothing. I'm already topped off. Okay. But, if the people preparing your fancy dinner can't afford to make your fancy dinner, can't afford to make their own dinner, like, we're doing something wrong. Oh, let's see, where do I want to go? Up? See, I still got to figure out how to get into that room. And there seems to be... because that one dot... I have to come at that from the right. Oh, where are we going? More secrets. Okay, now this room makes some sense. See, if you think about it, though, a Big Mac and a Coke costing about $8-9. But the guy flipping the burger can't even earn enough to buy one with a single hour of his shift. Like, there's something wrong there, you know? And they definitely can afford to pay people more. Because heck, even during the pandemic, they made plenty of money. Amazon can afford to pay its people better. Pretty sure I already did this. And if I go down here... Let me come out here. But we can't get through the thing there, so we gotta go down. See, the heck with shareholders, all right? Besides, a lot of those companies bought a lot of their shares back. They used the money, the funds they got for pandemic relief, because we bailed the businesses out again. Sent them a whole bunch of money. Ah, come on, Samus. Seriously? Come on. It's not rocket science. Jump. There we go. But, yeah, it is about that time. But yeah, we gave them all kinds of money for COVID relief. This was to help pay employees and, you know, help with making their business able to deal with the new restrictions and whatnot. With the pandemic going on. A lot of the companies, a lot of the big corporations, they used that money to buy back shares. And oh, I can't even go that way. It was kind of a crummy move because it really wasn't what the money was for. But that's what they ended up using it for. And then they made record profits, and now they're complaining nobody wants to come back to work because the government is paying them more in unemployment than what they're willing to pay them to do the actual work. But unemployment it isn't, you know, isn't exactly high wages. You know? The amount of money you make on unemployment is barely anything. Ain't nobody gotten rich off unemployment. Alright? Everybody I know who's ever been on unemployment, they're constantly stressing about money. They're constantly wondering if they're going to have enough to make it before they go back to work. Like, it's nice to have. They're not complaining that they have the unemployment. They're thankful to get unemployment, but they would rather just make a living wage. But they're always trying to frame this whole, the government benefits are too much, people don't want to work. Yeah, no. Don't believe it. People would rather work. Okay? It's just, they have to earn enough money while working that it is worth it to go to work. The job is not the reward, okay? The paycheck. The being able to afford to continue living. Buying groceries, keeping a roof over your head. That's what you should get in exchange for the time you give up to do something for someone else. The commitment of, you know, showing up every day. Putting in the work. Yeah, that stock buyback, it was awful. I can't say I'm surprised, though. Why are you not doing the thing, Samus? Fine, we do the thing the hard way. Because every single time, we have bailed out companies and corporations, they always find a way to turn that money into more money for the people on top, and the people who work for them never see any of it. You know? It never seems to help them. And that's unfortunate. Which is why, you know, tax cuts for the super wealthy make me sick. Because, like, I get they create jobs, but we have jobs in this country. There's no job shortage. You know? We don't have to worry about that. Honestly, if we stopped favoring the super wealthy, we could probably get even more job creation, because smaller businesses would be able to provide more jobs. You know? Stop doing things that are only in the best interest of the most wealthy people. You know? Favor small entrepreneurs for a change. Small business owners. They hire a whole lot more people in the long run. The jobs they provide are usually more sustainable because they're small companies. They don't want revolving doors on their work staff. They want to be able to, you know, count on the few people that they can hire to keep coming in. Meanwhile, we have companies like Walmart who pay their employees poverty wages. Every single one of those employees, they're having to get benefits from the government in order to make up the difference for what their paycheck can't provide for them. You know, people complain about people being on welfare and, oh, just get a job. Why don't you just go get a job? Most of the people on welfare have a job working for an extremely wealthy company. It's just they're not getting paid nearly enough. See, I hope you're right in that we're going to start seeing a shift here. And it's got to come soon if we expect our economy to truly bounce back from the recession. The most recent recession, that of the pandemic. But it means a lot of people in high power are going to have to swallow their pride and understand that, you know, if you want people to come back, you have to understand that they are people. And that they deserve to be treated like people. And that means paying them enough that they can survive on. Otherwise, it's a brand new form of slavery. You're just keeping people, you know, dependent on whatever thing they can, on whatever crap job they can get their hands on. Keeping them dependent on the meager, tiny little paychecks. But at some point, like, it's not enough. Oh yeah, there's definitely gonna be a trade-off. Like, there's gonna be people screaming about how, oh, raising wages is gonna raise prices. And of course, there are going to be people who are going to take full advantage of the cover that provides for them with raising wages. And they're gonna raise prices more than is justified. Because I'm not saying raising wages won't raise prices on some stuff. It definitely will. But if you're smart about where you're raising your prices, costs generally even out. You know? I am surprised I didn't die this session. That's actually kind of amazing. But, there's always those people who decide that because they're given an excuse, they're going to take it too far. Like currently, fuel prices up all across the country, up everywhere in the world. A lot of blame being thrown at the president, like he can tell, you know, he can tell people how much to charge for a barrel of oil. I mean, come on. Get real. What's going on is there's a war. And whenever there's a war, that provides enough cover that the oil producers Could be like, look, we're getting this much money to supply oil to these guys. So if you want to buy oil from us, you got to be paying that much or more, at least. I mean, we already have a market for the oil. We know where we're sending it. If you want some of this, you got to be willing to pay as much as everybody else. And so they just keep jacking the price up. Because nothing increases demand on oil like a good old-fashioned war. Nothing. And the fact that you have Russia, one of the leading producers of fossil fuels in Europe, at war. Because we were apparently getting a lot of fuel from Russia before this whole thing happened. Well, Russia's competitors, they're not a whole lot better. I mean, we're looking at Saudi Arabia, we're looking at, we're looking at China, we're looking at other places where we're going to have to get our oil from, and it's like, I mean, it's basically dealing with, one horrible dictator or a different horrible dictator, or, So it's really hard to... It's really hard to justify, any kind of decision on that. Any kind of action we take. And worst of all, like, the whole reason we're stuck in the situation we're in now is because we keep putting off the whole becoming an energy-dependent nation over and over and over again. If we had invested in more green energy and whatnot, the amount of fossil fuels we produce in our country would be sufficient. There'd be plenty left over. Anyway. There's a whole lot of issues that need fixing. In all kinds of markets. In all kinds of aspects of our economy. My hope is, at some point, the people in charge can pass some useful legislation. Not necessarily requirements, or regulations, but at least useful legislation that can maybe open up some avenues to solve some of these problems. We definitely got to increase wages. Have to. That's been a problem for a long time now. It's been ignored too long. And, like, it may mean higher prices on things, but it's time to bite that bullet. Time to get it done. Let's see. What else have I got going on this week? Tomorrow, my friend Zeph and I are recording the next episode of our podcast. Murph Strange Presents, a Bloody Strange podcast. We're going to be talking about werewolves throughout history. Or at least that's what I intend to talk about. I don't know what Zeph's going to talk about. Can never predict what Zeph is going to talk about. She's an unfiltered, independent-minded individual. Like, she brings whatever she brings to the table, and we just roll with it. But my planned topic of discussion will be werewolves. Wednesday will be a front-end development coding session. We have finally gotten into JavaScript. And I'm going to start off by showing you the fun stuff you can do in JavaScript. Forget math. Forget, you know, the whole stereotypical stuff that they start you off with in every other JavaScript tutorial. Absolutely drives me nuts. I'm going to show you from the very start here. We're going to jump right into Ajax. I'm going to show you how to make a server request. Actually, Flash is dead. Java and JavaScript are actually two completely different things. Though JavaScript was named for Java because they were trying to get on that bandwagon. But two completely different things. JavaScript is still around. It's still the scripting language for web pages, and it's what makes web pages do the fancy things. So, if you've ever taken any kind of coding course before, the one that I offer is nothing at all like that. Because I find most people get really boring with the code. They wanna go through the basics, but then they spend so much time on the basics that you get bored. And I can understand needing to understand the basics. Absolutely. But when your description and your explanation of object-oriented programming languages leaves people scratching their heads because they don't understand any of it by the time you're done, you're not doing it right. And it doesn't matter if you spend 6 to 8 hours trying to explain it. Like, you're not fixing the problem. I can explain the problem and, make it understandable, and it takes me 10-20 minutes. So, maybe not spending so much time on it makes it a little less convoluted. So with my JavaScript tutorial, I plan to show people useful things that they can do from the very beginning. And it's going to be things like, how to request a file from the server. Why would that be something you want to know about? Well, every JavaScript tutorial I have ever seen, one thing that they talk about a lot is forms. But you know what they never talk about? What to do with the form after you've made it. You can make a form, but then you have to do something with it. And they just kind of don't bother with that. And the reason they don't bother with that is because that's the server side of things. What good is it to teach somebody to make a form if you don't teach them how to use it? If you don't teach them how they can take the information that a user has put in that form and make it, useful to the web page? So, my tutorial, I don't spend all that time talking about forms. What I'm going to be showing people is how they can make a canvas element, how they can draw on it using JavaScript, so that they have immediate visual confirmation that their code is working. I'm going to show them how they can take the asset builder that we made in Python and make that something that's useful for their web page. Why would that be something that would tie into JavaScript? Well, we made a program that does comma-separated... Oh, hey, what's in here? Comma-separated values like a spreadsheet. Ooh, power bomb. That's always handy. And when I get back to teaching Python again, we intend to make a game. But we can also make a game in JavaScript. Oh man, I've been there. I had a GeoCities page back in the day, and most of the web pages I have actually written in my time were written in Notepad. So I know where you're coming from with that. I have been there. That is, however, now an outdated way of doing things. We have better tools, we have better methods, and the HTML, though, that you learned back in the day, still handy. That's still something you can use. Maybe not all of it, because I mean, back then, you would style the page in your HTML. Nowadays, we use CSS, which is another language, to add the style properties to our HTML. We use JavaScript to manipulate those styles so that we can see active changes on the page, but also add utility to the page. At least on the front end side of things. There's a whole different environment if you want to do any kind of back-end server sort of stuff, like having password login and stuff like that. So, where we're at with the coding so far is we've talked a little bit about HTML, a little bit about CSS. We haven't done any serious deep dives into those things, but we did talk about responsive web development so that you can make a website that looks good on both mobile devices and a desktop computer. Which is another thing that's probably changed since you did HTML back in the day. Because back when GeoCities was a thing, smartphones were not. You didn't have to worry about your webpage looking good on a tiny screen the way that you do now. And so that's been another thing that's kind of changed the game. But what hasn't changed is JavaScript is still the king as far as programming on your website. But I've never been satisfied with any tutorial that teaches people JavaScript because they always start so blandly, and it takes forever for them to get to the parts that are good and useful and that people actually want to know. So for mine, I'm starting off with Ajax. It's a bit of a, you know, higher level kind of thinking, usually reserved for the end of your JavaScript tutorials, but I'm starting there for good reason. It's something you're probably going to use if you do any kind of useful web development. And it's a perfect example of functions. It's a perfect example of how the objects work within the language. And it shows you how to work with data. And those are the important concepts when it comes to something like JavaScript. A lot of tutorials kind of forget that, and they become more interested in imparting encyclopedic knowledge of Here's all the different kinds of functions you can run on a string. Here's all the different kinds of operators that work with numbers. And it's like, so boring. You don't use JavaScript to teach math. Why focus so much of your tutorial on teaching math? It's dumb. Besides that, I don't know anybody who does that. So, I'm showing people how to use JavaScript the way that I actually use JavaScript when I design something, when I make a web page. Occasionally there's math. Occasionally there's, some function that I have to run on a string. But I plan to show those in the situations where you would actually be using them. And I also show people where they can look up more information on things so that, like, if they do need more information than what I've imparted on them, they know where to find it. Because, big surprise, big shocker, spoiler alert, every developer looks up this stuff on the internet. Nobody has it memorized. They shouldn't. It's too much. Their brains would be jello. And there's absolutely no reason for it because you can easily reference all of it. Just, know what you're looking for. If you have a general idea, a basic grasp of the information, and how to use it, that'll take you further than having the encyclopedic knowledge of the entire JavaScript language pounded into your brain. And as long as you know it's something that is possible, finding out how it's possible, piece of cake. But, we'll be doing that on Wednesdays. Mondays and Thursdays we're playing this until we beat it, although I don't know how much we are going to have left of this game, because we have, the screw attack left to find? Why is Spazer turned off? Oh, Spazer and Plasma are exclusive. Okay, we'll keep Plasma on. But we need the screw attack, and that's pretty much it. And then I think it's just finding energy tanks, missile upgrades, and tracking down the last bosses. So, probably maybe 2 weeks left of this one, depending upon how lost I get. Once we beat this one, we're gonna start Metroid Fusion and Metroid Prime. Are we going for 100%? No. God, no. I'm going to try to get as much as I can, but I'm not dedicated to 100%. If I get to having 85% of all the upgrades, and I feel like I can take on the final boss, I'm going to take on the final boss, and we're going to move on to the next game. Some games I will do 100%. But Super Metroid, we're just looking to beat it. Just looking to get through it. Take out the final boss, move on to the next one. Because we're doing an entire franchise run. Yeah. See, that's the thing. When there's 250 missiles to find, there are no bosses, there are no fights that take 250 missiles. You don't need all of the missile upgrades. So I'm not going to worry about, if there's a bunch of them I can't get. Yeah, the Prime games are fantastic. I'm actually looking forward to getting into those. I recently beat the first one in my off time for probably like the third time in a row. Or the third time in my life. But I had erased my previous save data, so I didn't have the completed Metroid Prime run through, and I wanted to be able to show people the fusion suit in Metroid Prime. So it's possible to beat the game getting only 14 items. Yeah, I believe that. Speedrunners have done some pretty wild, minimalistic run-throughs, picking up just the very bare minimum and seeing what they can do without. I like to get most of the energy tanks, as many of the missiles as I find don't become frustrating. And then beyond that, it's just, the suit upgrades, like, get all the different beams, get all the different, morph ball abilities, that kind of stuff. The Prime run-through that we're going to do, I don't think we're going to do 100% on that. Because there are just... See, doing a 100% run-through in Metroid Prime means that you're scanning everything with the visor. And there are so many things that are so easy to miss that you have one opportunity, and if you don't scan it, like, that's it. So, our run-through of Prime will definitely not be 100%. Our run-through of Fusion probably won't be 100% either. I may try to do 100% run-through of Metroid Dread when we get to that one, but that's just because it's the newest one. I haven't completed that one. I haven't 100%ed that one. But I wouldn't mind giving that a try. This one, though, I'm not worried about doing 100%. I would just like to get to the end of it, It's a great game. I enjoy playing it. Don't get me wrong. I have been having fun with this one. A lot more fun than I had with Metroid Other M. Other M was terrible. If you're a fan of the Metroid series, do not play Other M. It will make you mad. It's awful. But I did a playthrough of it. Not 100%. In fact, there's a secret boss that I decided to skip because it's like, no. I've seen the end of the story. I don't need to do the secret boss at the end because, like, it doesn't really add anything. Doesn't really add anything to the story. It's just a secret boss at the end. If they had made the game more fun, then yeah, I definitely would have been like, yeah, let's do this. But no, by that point, I just wanted it to be over. So, they made a mistake in going with Team Ninja for that one, I feel like. And the localization mistakes that happened in that really were atrocious because they made Samus just less of a badass than we know she is. And, like, the whole thing's just awkward and ugly. It wasn't the Metroid sort of games that, it didn't bring the elements that we liked about Metroid. Not nearly. So, I'm glad I got it out of the way. Never playing it again. Have no interest in doing 100% on that one at all. The original Metroid, We didn't exactly do 100%, but we maxed out. So, we did max out all of our upgrades, but there's like 3 extra energy tanks or something that you can pick up that don't really add anything. It's just they're alternative locations to pick up energy tanks. We didn't hunt those down. We maxed out and then we went and killed Mother Brain. Metroid 2, we maxed out there, but that's because it's such a small game. We were easily able to just find everything. Didn't run into a lot of trouble with Metroid 2. That one was pretty fun, actually, though. This one's been a lot of fun. It's given me some trouble in a few places, but the good kind of trouble, the trouble you expect with a decent Metroid game. So I have enjoyed playing this one. I'm going to enjoy it more finishing this one, though. I can definitely understand why people would consider this one of the great, greatest games of all time. It's a really good game. I like Zelda more, but I am a fan of the Metroid franchise, and as far as entries go, Super Metroid, I mean, it's spot on, It's definitely, it's definitely, got a lot of the better features as far as, like, it's a beautiful progression from its origin, but it's not such a deviation that it's unrecognizable. Story's great, music's awesome. The fights are pretty good, not gonna lie. The challenges are pretty interesting, and the exploration is exactly what you expect when you're going into a Metroid game. You're gonna run into dead ends that are going to have secret hidden passages, and you have to figure out where those are in order to advance. There's gonna be a lot of backtracking. There's a lot of hidden stuff in the game. Finding the hidden stuff is another one of the challenges for you to overcome. And they did a good job here, because there's a lot of that. Metroid Fusion is... I have beaten Metroid Fusion a couple of times, but that was one of those games that I had with me when I was a trucker. And that's what I would do when I wasn't behind the wheel. I was either sleeping, eating, or playing Metroid. So, I beat that one a couple of times. And, I had a lot of fun with that one. Metroid Prime, played that, was that during my college years? I think I played that during my college years. Or else that I played that during the semester that I had off. I can't quite remember. But I played that one at the insistence of a friend of mine who was a true die-hard Metroid fan. Absolutely loved the franchise. And that was the game that got me into it. That was the one that got me hooked. So, I love Metroid Prime. I've beaten that one a couple of times. Never 100%ed it, but that's only because every time I play through it, I forget one of the things. And it's usually something stupid. Like, the last time I ran through it, the Phazon Elite, space pirate. You fight one of these guys. Ever. But he doesn't seem like a boss because you just got done fighting the really big Phazon Omega Pirate. And that was a boss. Okay? This other one, he's kind of a mini boss. And he went down so fast. So fast. I hit him with like 2 super missiles and it was over. It was over before I even thought to scan him. And then there's 2 other elite space pirates. These show up so rarely that I honestly thought that the Phazon elite space pirate that you only ever see once in the game was just one of those. So I didn't think to scan him because I just ran into those and scanned those. And nope. Dude was dead before I even realized that I needed to scan him. And of course, by the time I figured out my mistake, I had already saved the game. Which means I had saved my mistake. It happens. It's one of the frustrating parts of playing Metroid Prime. And it's one of the reasons why I've never been able to 100% that one. Oh yeah, like Metroid invented speedrunning in a way. Because the first one, the faster you could beat the game, the better an ending you got. You know? So it started that whole trend. So, you know, for years and years, people would play the original Metroid trying to see how quickly they can beat it. How little of the upgrades they actually need to pick up to still be able to beat it. Ways that they could, they could shortcut through to the different bosses. Or maybe even just bypass them entirely. With Metroid 2, a little of that came along with it, and there were still people trying to find sequence breaks and ways around the the intended I guess, if you could call it that, playthrough. But even the intended way to play through it, it's still a fairly quick game. This one, the third one, it's such an open world, such a large world. And the community has put a lot into, into things like, the randomizers, the speedruns. But it's a game worth doing that. They were able to fit a lot into this game. It's genuinely a really good title. Metroid Fusion, there's a lot to work with there as well. I don't feel like it's as much as Super Metroid, but it's definitely got a lot going for it as well. A lot of people complain about it being far more linear than Super Metroid. You have less options for, sequence breaks, alternative routes through things. It is where they introduced a bit of a horror element, though. Raised the stakes a bit by having you hunted by SAX. Well, I'm about to sign off anyway, so you enjoy your day at work. Feel free to stop in anytime. Enjoy having you in the chat. Um, like I said, we do this every Wednesday and Thursday, so hopefully we'll see you then. We have content 5 days a week, so join us for whatever floats your boat. And stay safe out there. Have a great one. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go get some lunch because I could use a sandwich. But yep, so probably another, like, at least a week, possibly 2 weeks playing this one, depending upon how quickly I can get to finding the screw attack and taking out the last boss. I think we still have Ridley and I think there's one other boss, because I believe there was 4 in this one. So we've beaten Kraid and we've beaten Fantoon, I believe his name is. Yeah. So we probably still have some time with this game, but then we'll get on to Fusion and Prime. And as I've said in previous stream sessions, it'll be a one on Monday, the other on Thursday sort of situation. So get a little variety, but it'll still be Metroid for a little while, because we've got 3 chapters of Prime to get through. And we'll do Dread after we finish the Prime trilogy. So if you're looking forward to Dread, it's still gonna be a while. There may even be some breaks where we go play something else for a little bit. It's a lot of Metroid. But we'll get through the whole franchise here eventually. Stay tuned for that. Tune in for the podcast on Tuesday nights. The code sessions Wednesday mornings. And this Mondays and Thursdays. So everybody have a wonderful time. Thanks for joining me. I'm gonna go eat a sandwich. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful day.